Good morning, everyone. No, and as introduced, my name is Mikey Canaman, and I'm the co-founder of Sowenscale. So we're a business development services. And why Sowenscale? Sowenscale is actually a play of words, no, on the values that we wanted to live by as a company. So, which means to us that in everything that we do, no, we had this reaping what we sow in mind, and at the same time, scale, because as even highlighted today, no, in everything that we wanted to do, no, we wanted to design it in such a way that it could scale or it could grow. So I'm going to tell you more about Sowenscale later on and how we aim to contribute, no, to this vision of digital transformation, not only for the consumers, but most especially then for our MSMEs. So that today, our first, what we're going to focus on into this discussion is just a really small portion of the entire digital transformation or even the digital media na tool, no? So this is going to be entitled #SOCMED Goals, Hitting Social Media Targets Through Effective Campaigns. So some of you guys might have seen it social media. Some of your friends would post something like a photo probably of their relationships or someone else's relationships, and they're going to use #relationship-goals, no? In our case, no, for our MSMEs or even for our program managers, for those who are coming from LGUs or from DOST, then definitely we also have this what we call #SOCMED goals, no, wherein we wanted to maximize this tool, which is the social media, in trying to achieve our organizational goals. So in the context of our MSMEs, it could be with the goal on sales and marketing, or for our LGUs or the OSTs, it could be in our project management. So may mga certain KPIs tayo, probably on brand awareness, on sign-ups, or even with this event, if you wanted to like campaign for an event wherein you wanted people to sign up, then we try to maximize ang aton nga mga social media or ang ating social media, right? So again, I did mention earlier to give you a quick context na rin on what we do in the company and how, again, we contribute to this digital transformation vision, no, for the Philippines. Sowenscale is actually a business development services company. So we're a Philippine-based company. We cater, although, to local and international brands to help them sow and grow using today's technology. We actually take pride in this participation today because we were founded in 2020. We're founded by 3 women founders. So we started out as 3, but now in the company, we're growing. We're around 30 in the company right now. So what is it that we offer? So we do what we call 𝐕𝐢𝐬𝐚𝐲. So for those MSMEs or probably potential entrepreneurs, if they're starting out, no, there are some of them may need some certain guidance. It may include marketing and brand strategy, how they wanted to introduce themselves eventually. We also do what we call We Water, wherein we introduce to them, no, the different digital channels wherein they can maximize these para sa kanilang sales and marketing. We also do what we call We Propagate, no? We do services such as workforce development. We actually come with a what you call a tagline that says, more than reaping what you sow, you grow with it, because we design our programs in such a way na the organizations will be able to prosper even after taking our services. So we do customer support training, we do sales and marketing training, just so may sustainability talaga yung mga businesses when they work with us. And last but not the least, we grow through our project management services. So you guys are probably familiar with a lot of, mga apps today. So we also do app development, among others. But at the same time, no, for our company, just like our other MSMEs right here, we also need to advertise ourselves. And just because these are our services, all the more that we should be very much aware and maximizing talaga ang ating tinatawag na digital media. Thus, Sowenscale created this what we call Sprout Stories and Studios. It is a multimedia and production company wherein what we do specifically is we feature impactful stories, creative concepts, and innovative ideas. So it also serves like the digital magazine or a counterpart of a magazine wherein we feature these stories, especially those inspiring ones, which I believe with the OST, we have a lot of those kinds of stories. So we do those collaboration as well. We did mention that we cater international accounts or international brands. However, we take pride then we started out helping other local brands here in the country and here in Iloilo specifically. So some of it might ring a bell sa inyo, but that's one thing that we're also doing for the local market to truly help them leverage on our social media platforms or in our digital media. So these are just some of them that we have featured and we have worked with. So specifically for Sprout, the services that we present to our clients are the following. We do content, we do production services, we do design services, tech integration. So for those na nasa retail, for example, you guys might need like e-commerce website, which I'm going to discuss more about later. And same goes for marketing. So you might have heard of initiatives like influencer marketing, events management, social media campaigns, and customer service training. So the need for me to mention all of this is just to reiterate that the digital media is such a broad concept. There's a lot of going on with the technology. And at the same time, the evolution of this technology is very fast, no? So the contribution to slowly educate everyone is just medyo maliit pa siya na effort, but definitely once we have our MSMEs know the basics, I believe they will have more will and enthusiasm to learn more about the technology. So to begin, we're just gonna focus on the social media campaigns as mentioned in the introduction earlier, which in itself can be a little complex. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna discuss it for or in the context of our MSMEs, whom I believe are most of them are in the retail industry or in the food and beverage industry. And probably if able, we can also mention in the context naman of program management para sa ating DOST staffs and sa mga LGU natin. All right. So you guys might have seen this in your social media platforms. Obviously, I couldn't tell how much of them yung nakaabot sa inyo, but that's just because iba tayo ng algorithm. So iba yung kino-consume natin, sometimes depende din sa market. So iba rin yung mga nako-consume ko, so iba rin yung fini-feed na information sa akin, and then iba rin sa inyo. In this case, however, if you guys are familiar with, one of the trendy or moments marketing happening right now is this what they call #Bardagulan, or it came from the play of words on Bardagulan and the keyword dunk. So si McDonald's very recently released this new product, or this new campaign wherein they introduced their burgers in such a way that you can actually dip it on cheese. Yon. However, pinick up siya ng ibang mga brands, wherein they could further amplify their product na piggybacking on the campaign of other brands. So in this case, it's Burger King. So if you're following these brands, you would know na very aggressive and very attentive sila when they create their campaigns, which obviously what they meant here is really to establish their competitive advantage, but at the same time for brand awareness. So if you may notice sa Burger King, sabi nila, oozing with cheese, no dunking needed. Tapos sinabayan din siya ng iba pang mga brands such as KFC, wherein they mention dunking since day one because that's how their chickens are when you try to eat it with the gravy. And if you're familiar with another brand, which is Mary Grace, the market is more on like yung mga titas of Manila because I think there's none in the Visayas as of, I don't know now. But what they do is to say that, okay, titas don't dunk. So sinasakyan nila yung mga ganitong moments marketing. And even if not in the food industry, some of them would do as well. So in this case, si BPI, reiterating its services and piggybacking on this campaign of McDonald's. So these are just one of those campaigns na really meant for, number one, brand awareness. Number two, probably is to really introduce a new product. But there's so many things that are happening in social media. And yung often na tinatanong lagi is, how often are we really supposed to post? Okay. And what are our considerations when we're trying to post on social media? may tinatawag tayo sometimes na social media noise, no? Some of the brands would come up with certain posts, not having any objectives, not considering who they're talking to, and to the point na they're doing it for the sake of. Not to mention, if you're just a growing business, sometimes this in itself is very time-consuming and energy-consuming. So it's also important to know these basics that we're going to go through today, just so definitely we're strategic. And then number two, we really allocate the right time and energy in running our business and in running the marketing side of our business. So what we're going to discuss today are the following. So the digital media strategy is very big, complex in itself. However, what we're going to focus on are just the 7 parts right here. First off would be the goals, which pertains to the goal of the digital media or the use of the digital tools primarily. It answers the question, will our social media posts or social media campaigns contribute to this goal? Because if it's not, we're not going to do it. Number two, we're going to discuss about target market. So the target market should dictate the use of your copies or content or the graphics that you're going to use moving forward. If it does not speak to this target market, if it does not feed to this goal, then definitely it's not going to be effective. Number three, we're going to plot what we call desired customer journey. So later on, we're going to go into the specific examples, but this is just to show that if this is your goal and you're going to talk to this kind of market, will you be able to walk them through in their, say, for example, purchasing journey? Okay? Baka nakuha mo sila sa nai-post mo, pero hindi mo silang naigawang i-convert into buying your product dahil wala kang seamless na consumer journey or masyadong matrabaho yung consumer journey mo. In the context of program management, say, for example, they wanted to participate in your program, however, kulang-kulang yung informasyon na nailalagay natin, or probably you wanted them to sign up, but there's no associated link to the sign up form. So it really forfeits the purpose of the campaign if by any chance hindi seamless o hindi naplanuhan ang ating tinatawag na customer journey or the channels are not in place. Number 4, we have this what we call, we're going to be focusing more on the social campaign framework, which we're going to go in detail later on. Again, everything that we're going to do on that framework is really designed for us to hit our goal in our digital media strategy. Number 5 would be the content, copy, and creatives. So just few tips on how to move forward with the campaign description or content, what are the copies that we're supposed to use, and how are we going to communicate the creative direction of our postings. And number 6, we're going to discuss the post-publishing amplifier. So there are things that we can do right after the posting. In other words, the work does not stop after posting whatever content we decided to post. There are other things that we can do to further amplify our efforts on those postings or campaigns. And last but not the least, of course, evaluation to really see whether our strategies or our efforts have really converted into achieving our goals. So to go into the detail, allow me to go to my next slide. Okay, so whenever a new business starts with us, these are the questions that we'd always ask. Okay, what is it that you aim in your brand? So say for example, bagong brand pa lang siya and tatanungin siya namin ano yung brand goal niya. Oftentimes, nahihirapan yung mga brands na alamin to or nahihirapan sila na i-explain ito. Kasi technically, if you're an entrepreneur, sometimes you would really focus on the profitability, right? But a few of the questions or simple questions that we can ask ourselves as business owners or MSMEs would be, what is it that we desire our customers to feel, to achieve, or to experience about our brand? So lagi naming tinatanong na, it can be as simple as saying na, wow, masarap, parang ganon. Or wow, dito ko lang siya natikman, parang ganon, in the context of food. Or probably, pag na-try niya ito, nakita niya na, ay, mas maganda to as to compared kay ganito. So those can be the questions that you can ask yourselves pertaining to ano ba yung gusto mong ma-achieve in terms of brand, no? And second, we have here what we call channels, no? Ano ba yung mga goal natin to establish our digital media strategy? What are the channels that have to be in place? So pag nasa food and beverage business kayo or pag nasa retail business kayo, then probably if you wanted to leverage on the digital media or social media, few things that you may have to consider include, may e-commerce ba kayo? Kung wala kayong sariling e-commerce or website, probably you can leverage on those existing ones. So pwede kayong mag-Shopee, pwede kayong mag-Lazada. At the same time, in our social media, technically social media is just the touch point kung saan yun na yung ginagamit natin para ma-pull yung ating target market. But what we wanted them to do is eventually respond to that post. Respond in a sense na pipindutin nila yung call to action, which is probably in your case would be to shop now or to sign up or to call now, no? And when they do that, we have to ensure that the next phase of the consumer journey is in place para magawa nila makompete yung transaction. In your case, kung nagbebenta kayo online, you wanted them to check out and eventually receive their package and eventually get you paid, no? And last but not the least na tinatanong natin, we have to be very specific as well when it comes to our sales. Ano ba yung sales goal natin? And anong duration ba yung tinitingnan natin? So it could be na, okay, I wanted to sell my calamansi juice or my cacao, like 1,250 grams of it on a monthly basis. No, we have to be specific on those because later on, when we try to identify our campaigns, we wanted to design the campaigns to really contribute to all of these goals. Just in case na hindi nyo pa siya masyado mag-grasp, allow me to give you an example. So I just chose few examples for this part just so mas ma-visualize nyo lang siya. So sa brand goal natin, let's say for example, you guys have a guyabano drink, no? A healthy drink, for example. And yung goal ni owner is to establish a credible brand, appropriate and beneficial to its target market. So for this case or scenario, let's say tag 1,920 yung box na binibenta. So the reason why we wanted to establish a credible brand, the appropriate and beneficial to its target market is because baka naman binibenta natin siya sa market na ang purchasing capacity is hindi afford yung ganitong presyo na 1,920 pesos. So few things that we can do to achieve that brand goal is number one, to improve our brand guide and application across digital channels. Ibig sabihin, kung medyo mahal yung product mo, dapat pagtingin ni market or ni customer sa product nyo, parang worthy siya of that value or amount, no? And dapat nakikita niya na ay parang hindi naman sila scammer, ay parang backed by data, backed by experts sila, parang to that effect. So we can further say that dapat mag-content tayo backed by testimonials, by facts, by industry experts, para talagang ma-establish natin na credible yung brand, and this is for this type of market. We also have this what we call metrics of success, in which paano ba natin masasabi kung na-achieve na siya natin, okay? Number one would be if the brand matches the price and the target market class across channels, if we see that there are Facebook engagement and the quality of the conversations and the engagement as well, and when we receive good customer reviews. Pag nare-receive natin yung mga ganitong output or feedback, mas na-analyze natin na yung ating mga campaigns ay actually speaking to our market na our brand is credible and the price works for them and that they're willing to make the transaction and even leave a good review out of it. Para naman sa ating digital channels goal, we did mention about like activating seamless consumer journey from the touch point to point of sale. Again, yung gusto natin makabenta tayo. Pero hindi natin nare-realize yung goal na yon because to begin with, wala yung channels natin to be able to do that. Wala tayong Facebook, let's say, or walang channel na will allow you to allow your users to order and to check out and eventually pay. So maraming platforms na ngayon na pwede talaga nating i-explore to be able to get closer to our target market using our social media. And at the same time, dapat may strategic support channels tayo dahil ayaw natin na pag may difficulty si client or pag may mga report si client, hindi niya alam kung sino yung pupuntahan niya or kung paano kayo i-contact when it comes to their purchases. Let's say, for example, gusto niyo mag-wholesale, ganon. Sayang yon, sale pa sana yon, but then there is no channel that you have provided or is made available for them para ma-execute yung ganong purchase, no? So ano yung pwede nating maging metrics of success doon? It could be the successful checkout transaction online or even the traffic count. Kasi probably nag-add to cart lang sila pero hindi pa sila bibili as of this time, but eventually they will, no? And last but not the least, we have a sales goal. I did mention kanina, ideally, we'll have to be specific about it. Kung marami tayong produkto, then definitely we'll have to create some sort of like a sales goal na composed of the different sales of the different products. But in this example, yung sinabi natin dito is 1,000 boxes worth of 1,920 peso product per month. And ano yung output natin dito? Dapat talaga makapag-deliver tayo and masasabi lang natin na successful tayo kung nagagawa nating paliitin yung turnaround time natin on the user seeing our post, choosing the product, check out the product, deliver the product, and we get our payment. Kasi pag may nakulang dun sa process natin, say for example, there was a problem on like the product in itself na deliver nga siya, pwedeng ma-hold pa yung payment natin. So again, it will affect our sales goal. So that's just the first part, no, that we have to really identify before we even get into the campaigns or deciding on what to post. It's really identifying them because again, ayaw nating mag-aksaya ng effort or energy in coming up with campaigns na hindi naman nagko-contribute sa ating digital media goals. For the next point, we have here our target market. So it's important, no, to specifically mention this. I know you guys or some of you are already familiar kung sino ba talaga yung target market ninyo. However, just a tip lang, no, there are products kasi na probably para siya sa certain market or para sila yung consuming market, pero what influences their purchase is someone else, no? Or it could be na sila yung primary market, pero yung una mong pwedeng i-influence is yung peers nila, yung networks nila, pwedeng ganun din. So it's important for us to identify our primary market, secondary market, sometimes may tertiary pa, but that's because pag gumawa tayo ng campaign later on, ayaw natin yung tinatawag nating shotgun marketing. Kung saan gumagawa tayo ng campaign post, kung saan we're trying to accommodate everybody to the point na the campaign does not speak to them anymore. No? Example, if I'm trying to sell some mothers, no? My storytelling would be more appealing to them, probably talking about their pain points, talking about their needs. But then I also wanted to accommodate, let's say, the young professionals in which iba naman yung pain point nila, iba naman yung motivations nila. So it also creates confusion with the content, the copy, and the creatives if we're trying to accommodate, the broad market. So ito yung tinatawag nilang ideally, you get into the niche marketing just so mas makita natin yung conversion and we can further amplify our best practices when we do this. Moving forward to the next point, we did mention kanina, no, na we wanted to plot our desired consumer journey. So the process here is technically to start or imagine the target market. Ano ba yung potential touch point natin sa kanila? Paano ba natin sila maaabot? Paano natin sila mawo-walk through in the process hanggang makapag-check out or bumili sila? From there that we will be able to identify ano yung mga channels na dapat nating i-establish for our social media campaigns to be successful. So let me walk you through this one. Let's start with the target market sa baba. So si target market, let's say for example, young professional siya, and this is, let's say, a fashion brand or a retail brand, no? And obviously, if let's say young professional siya, like my age, like 20s, and digital dependent sila, and there are a lot of marketing that influences their decisions, including, say, for example, mag-Google search ako. Like, for example, let's say, for example, in fashion, I wanted like a clothing that I can use every day at the office, for example. So it can be that I will Google it, no? Sa search engine natin, it can be your Google. And oftentimes, yung lumalabas ng mga search results are directly on their website or directly from someone else's website. It could be a blog site, a digital magazine. So nakikita nyo yung mga parang affiliates na nag-feature sila ng brands, no? And when you get into those websites or blog sites, you will be told na, okay, ito yung tingin ko sa produkto na to, ito yung sinasabi ko tungkol sa produkto na ito. If it influences influences you to buy your own, then this is their website. So tinatapon sila sa website. And then from there that they can actually buy the product eventually. We have another scenario wherein si target market, dito sa baba, may makikita siyang social media post, probably on Facebook or Instagram. Sometimes organic lang siya kasi probably pina-follow na natin yung page or probably page siya. So kahit hindi ko pina-follow yung page pero nakita ng algorithm na I'm interested on fashion, pwede niya akong pakitaan ng mga ads pertaining to my interests. No? And when I see that post, okay, nakita ko, ay, parang ito yung kailangan ko sa opisina, parang ganon. Oftentimes, that very post will lead me to my to their social media page or to their social media page like Facebook and Instagram. And then dun ko makikita yung ibang impormasyon na kailangan ko. Like, if I wanted to really see the product on site, may pwede ba akong puntahan na boutique? Kung gusto kong umorder online, may channel ba, let's say si Lazada, or probably pwede ko ba itong bilhin sa website nila, no? It can also be, yung trend natin ngayon when it comes to social media marketing includes engagement on social media forums, influencer pages, and paid partners. So probably yung paborito kong artista suddenly nag-post about sa nagugustuhan niyang produkto or the fashion na sinusuot niya. And I also want that for myself. Oftentimes, yung post ni influencer na yan, it comes with the name of the brand o ng Facebook page niya or ng Instagram page niya. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on those links, and when I get into their Facebook and Instagram, it will tell me how to order. Again, probably on-site, probably with a third-party e-commerce, or probably sa kanilang website. Again, if we understood our consumer journey, then all the more that we will know what we need in terms of digital channels. So in this case, baka kailangan ko talaga mag-website, or kung hindi ko afford mag-website, baka naman pwede akong gumamit ng mga existing e-commerce like Lazada, Shopee, and there are many more in the market right now. So that's what we meant by mapping our desired consumer journey. Now we've already talked about identifying the goals, identifying our target market, and mapping our desired consumer journey. Assuming na may clarity yon at na-implement natin yung kailangan nating i-implement, what comes next is this, what we call social media campaign framework, no? This is the part wherein we try to answer how often are we supposed to post, what should we consider when creating campaigns, anong time ba tayo magpo-post, anong day ba tayo magpo-post, saan ba natin huhugutin yung reason as to why we're supposed to post, no? So I'm just going to discuss this very briefly, but these are the key points that you may take note. Number one, the social media campaign in itself will have its own goal, but oftentimes the goal of the goal is to contribute talaga to our organization's goal. We did mention kanina yung brand goal natin, yung digital channels goal natin, and then yung sales goal natin. So we'll try to identify our campaigns in such a way that it contributes to those goals mentioned. Pero we have to, in our social media postings kasi, we have to be more specific as to what we wanted to measure, no, in terms of its results or impact. So later on, we're going to give an example on that in the context of our MSMEs. And when we try to come up with campaigns, no, I know that some of the brands, they have a lot of products, no, but with the campaign making, we identify it probably based on categories. Kung marami kang produkto pero magagawa mo silang i-categorize, probably yung interest ni market, pag binili niya tong product na to, gugustuhin niya rin yung isang product na to. So you can actually group them. And you can also do just a single product, just so you can highlight talaga yung benefits ng product na yon, or you can campaign for it. And even with this one, we are to identify one target market out of those we identified earlier. So with the social media campaign, we're going to be more specific about what we're going to post and who we are talking to. And as to the reason naman, or kung saan natin huhugutin yung campaign direction natin, we have this what we call trend, okay? I know by the word in itself, it's really defined as ano ba yung mga nangyayari currently in our current events, right? So it can be like an event could be seasonal. It could be like Christmas. It could be those Christmas or holidays in the country. But at the same time, with trends, we also consider other things. It can be there's a certain trend about the demand for this product or the demand for this feature or benefits. It could also be there's a trend when it comes to consumer behaviors. It could be there could be a trend with the operations in itself of the business. So say for example, we're gonna campaign for this one kasi let's say for example, out of stock yung ganitong produkto, that could influence your decision as to what you are gonna campaign for in social media as well. So when you get to identify your goal, your KPI, your product, target market, and the trend, from there that the creative juices, no, ay mag-uumpisa for us to come up with our campaign description. Oftentimes, dapat po sa campaign description natin, we get to answer questions like, is it really something like unique that makakakuha siya ng attention when it comes to the how it was described, and is it something na talagang value adding sa customers natin? So you can further validate this by asking your target market. So dito po mapasok yung discussion on what we call internally we call it the great exchange. Kasi we don't want to come up with like promotions that are, you know, for the sake of. So say for example, yung often na challenge namin sa mga brand is, okay, you wanted to come up with this promotion and you guys wanted to give like 10 peso discount. So tatanungin namin siya or si target market. Target market, kung sasabihan ka namin na you can get this product with 10 peso off, is it enticing enough for you to actually purchase the product? Because oftentimes, if the answer is no, then it doesn't really contribute or it doesn't really influence the motivation of the target market. And most probably, magpa-flop lang yung promotions, right? So those are the questions that we can ask, or those are the things that we have to consider when we're trying to create value adding to our social media campaigns. And last but not the least would be the schedule of implementation. So laging tinatanong na, for example, may bagong brand, tapos nanggaling sila sa practice na parang napapagod na kami na dapat everyday kami nagpo-post para daw talaga makilala kami. Our advice on that is that's not always true. If what you're posting is basically not contributing to the goal or to the KPI, or if it's not really giving justice to highlight the product, or if it's not even talking to your target market, or wala naman talaga siyang parang value in such a way na wala namang nakukuhang value added ang ating consumers, then we don't really recommend you having to post all of those things, no? What really drives it would be what you guys have decided using this framework and say na, okay, if you wanted to campaign for like an event, no? Kailangan mo ba talaga mag-post every day? Or are we just gonna base it on what we know is important for us to post about? So probably pwede nyo siyang i-calendar in such a way na, okay, mag-announcement post muna tayo. Tapos come closer to the dates, we're gonna lay out our plans wherein we talk about highlighting our speakers, highlighting the activities that they can look forward to, highlighting na may pa-promo tayo or may pa-raffle tayo, mga ganon. So those are the things that if we have identified na influences the motivation of our target market to participate, then yun lang yung i-release natin. We don't have to add to the noise on social media if we know for a fact na hindi naman siya contributing to our overall goal. So to give you a brief example, going back to our 𝐕𝐢𝐬𝐻 example kanina, no? The goal that we wanted to influence here for the social media campaign is to establish a credible brand appropriate and beneficial to its target market. However, we will have a specific KPI para mamaya may basis talaga tayo on whether the campaign is effective or not. So in this case, what we wanted to do, not to contribute to that goal, is really for to do brand awareness campaigns na mare-reflect or mame-measure natin pag na-achieve natin, let's say, yung 1,000 page likes ng ating, let's say, bagong brand. And yung product natin, for the sake of example, we'll just call it the product. It's a colon cleansing drink. And we're gonna highlight it. Doon tayo magfo-focus. Yun lang yung talaga yung pag-uusapan natin. And when it comes to the target market, for this one, we were able to identify two separate market. Number one would be the buying market. Ibig sabihin, most probably sila yung pwede nating i-influence to purchase it, but they're not the consuming market. So probably it's their parents, the older age or the Gen X and boomers who will be able to benefit from it. So probably si millennial, binibili niya para kay nanay, para kay tatay. And for the trend, this was created, let's say, in the month of November, and they happened to look into the trends and they found that there is this what they call clean out your fridge day. So again, I mentioned earlier that trends can be based on seasonal events. It can be based on your operations, on consumer behavior, or the economy, pwedeng ganon. But in this case, what they see fitting talaga to talk about the product is the clean out your fridge day. So for the campaign description, what they came up with is they're gonna focus on detoxifying benefits of the product and will emphasize the importance of living a clean and healthy lifestyle. So they plan to hop on the clean out your fridge day to showcase that it's never too late to start living a healthy lifestyle. So parang ganun yung campaign description nila. But the question is, what other value adding yung pwede nating that we can add to the design, no? Para mas ma-attract yung ating market para bumili. So in this case, I think the scenario was there's actually an old packaging or inventory na gusto nilang maubos. So what they did here is they can get, or the customers can get the product with its old packaging at a discounted price. We weren't able to mention the discounted price here, but if I'm not mistaken, it's around like 40% discount. Again, what they're trying to resolve here as well is they wanted to sell or to sell their inventory of their old packaging. And yung duration niya, as decided here, is from November 1 to 30, and there's gonna be a weekly post pertaining to this campaign. And when it comes to the calendar of posts, week 1, ito yung ipopost nila. Detoxify, they come up with like some sort of a title to it just for recognition. So detoxify your November with the product, tapos hashtag no toxic life. And then week 2, they're gonna talk about why we should live a clean and healthy life. And the third one would be health is a great gift. So these are the things that parang they conceptualize that they're gonna release in their social media to contribute to this overall goal or to this campaign. So internally, they also add like prerequisites. Ano ba yung mga kailangan nating i-collect para makagawa tayo ng ating social media posts? In their case, sabi nila, okay, they have to follow through with the packaging, they have to get customer testimonials, and more information about the product so they can post more about it. So para naman sa content, copy, and creative, this is a basic template that we follow. So technically, if you work with a team and there's like a graphic designer, a content writer, a copywriter, so these are the things that you may also apply, wherein we come up with this template wherein you get to put your post format or objective. It's going to be like a static or single photo. It could be a multiple photo. It could be a carousel. It could be a video or a GIF. It really depends on how the content creator or the strategist imagined it. And ano ba yung magiging objective natin? Okay, for this one, we just wanted brand awareness. We just wanted to be informative, but at the same time, really makes them curious about the product. And yung recommended niya dito is it could be like a single photo or a GIF. And the copy and creative direction will have the following: main text, subtext. Ano ba yung instruction mo sa graphics? How do you imagine it? You can actually describe it, or you can also provide a peg. And when it comes to highlights, so ibig sabihin, ano ba yung gusto mong bigyan ng highlight ng graphic designer? So probably in this direction would be the product packaging with sachet, or it could be the discounted price as well, to that effect. And ano ba yung gusto nating parang call to action, no? In this case, what we have here is the Lazada logo, because we wanted to communicate that should they be interested, they just have to click onto the link and that they'll be able to buy it from Lazada. So with the caption naman, oftentimes yung tip natin dito is always start with the first sentence na you think is something that your target market could relate to. So in this case, yung ginamit nila is bawal ang toxic dito. So sa katawan man yan o sa relasyon. So it's kind of like just speaking to what we know really resonates to our target market, because obviously in this case, kung millennial, medyo into like, the conversations on relationship. Thus, ganito yung ginawa nila. And if you wanted to further build that up, you can add more information about it and always close it with what we call to action. What is it that you wanted them to do right after seeing the content or the post? And in this case, they wanted the customers to click on the link in Lazada so they could buy and check out. Okay. And here's just some of the examples that they created with regards to that campaign. So they mentioned, or they just have detoxify your life, start cleansing with, and then the product. And they also further emphasize how it looks like, or probably created a content that they could imagine, or the customers could imagine themselves drinking this. And sometimes there are questions that we wanted to leave to them, no? Just so they would be curious or think to themselves, how many times should I poop? Healthy o may problema na? So the captions sometimes build up additional information because we don't want to crowd the entire content as well. So these are like the single posts that you can come across, but at the same time, there are also those that we call multiple photo posts, wherein we try to come up with educational content. We're not trying to sell always or to do hard selling always. So in this case, what we have right here is, why should I cleanse my colon? And then we provide them information as to why. And if it's something that resonates to them, because probably they have a family member who had these experiences, or probably they have their own difficulties, then that is something also that could resonate to them and eventually be curious about the product. And this one is, everybody poops, but are you healthy? So may mga ganun tayong conversations, just in case you are experiencing something, that this will truly resonate to you and you are actually easier to convince to buy the product. And last but not the least, we do mention that ideally you have the calendar of implementation, just so you would know exactly what your social media or your month will look like in terms of social media. So this is just an example to show that we didn't really box ourselves to saying that dapat everyday may post tayo, but rather to complement all of those campaign, what are the posts that we're supposed to post? And we're just gonna plot it just so we could see the overview of our calendar. But obviously, what you can do is you have to schedule this on your calendar, and you'll be able to, seamlessly move forward without having to post on a daily basis. And right after that, these are the things that you can do. No, we can do paid media. So you guys might have heard of Facebook boosting or Facebook ads, but of course, that in itself is a complex topic. If you're not very familiar with it just yet, then definitely those allow you to boost your post na may maabot kayong mga market na probably hindi pa nagpa-follow ng page ninyo. You can also do forum engagement. You get to see this sa mga parang forums wherein they talk about certain products without hard selling. They're just really basically telling their experiences. And the same goes for influencer program. You can actually send your products to people that you think has influence on your target market. Okay, those are the key points that you have to remember. The influencer has to have an influence on your target market. And last would be the performance evaluation. And a few things that you may have to look at would be per campaign. So say, for example, ano ba yung goal natin kanina? That would be probably like brand awareness and then the likes on the page. If nakitang informative, beneficial yung mga postings natin and gusto pa nilang matuto and gusto pa nilang may malaman sa iyong produkto, then our expected action from them would be to like the page, no? And eventually grow the page as based on our objective kanina. And then the KPI result and the overall goal. So if these are all, if the campaigns are all contributing to this one, it's a funnel in itself. But if it's contributing to these 3 items mentioned here, then definitely those are worth pursuing na type of campaigns. And eventually that should guide you on what kind of posts to post or to plan again, or campaigns to plan again in the next coming months. Okay, so technically this is definitely like an overview of the campaign making. There's a lot going on social media, and even if we are an agency that provides that service, it requires us to really learn and to be updated with all of these changes. But definitely there's a lot of tools right now that you can learn for you to reach your market and eventually achieve your organizational goal. So should you guys wanted or find value to this presentation today, we actually have this what we call free digital media strategy consultation, just really checking whether you guys are in the right direction, or probably you guys wanted to know more or learn more. Then we do have a free sessions, but this come with a limited time slot. So all you have to do is just scan this QR and it will direct you to our calendar wherein you can book, or if not, you can screenshot this one and save our email, mobile number, or go to our website should you guys wanted to know more about our services, and at the same time, should you wanted to avail this free digital media strategy consultation. I think because of our limited time, that would be all, and thank you so much.